And welcome back to the Houston Texans franchise rebuild. Here today we have some preseason action versus multiple different teams. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I hope you're all having a great day. Please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action, and don't forget to subscribe. As we're coming off of another off season, and we've made a lot of changes. We have right now currently a 75-man roster, and we have a lot of competition to be made. This is right now, and things are due to change, but these are right now the current starting roster for both offense and defense. Of course, we're going to be seeing a lot of young, talented players. We're going to see, the addition of Adoree Jackson, the two rookie players we brought in the second round. There's a lot of competition, and we're going to go through that fairly quickly. If you are not used to, if you've yet to see a preseason episode, typically I kind of go through the first few games, talk about my thoughts through at the beginning of every single game. And then afterwards, there's a little in between of some just bigger plays, like some of the highlights with very little commentary. But some of the players some moves that we did make. So the big move here is at running back. We brought in James Conner through free agency, and we traded away, what's his name? Carl Finley to the Green Bay Packers. We sent him for a 4th round draft pick in this up and coming class. Finley's been a fine runner for the last few years, but I think it's just time for him to get an opportunity, and I think in Green Bay he can get it. You'll back up Sean Horn, who's also a 3rd-year runner, but who has starred dev, and I assume we'll get a majority of the touches here. And I think this makes a whole lot of sense for us and for the Packers. So we're seeing if we're going to have 4 running backs, but probably the biggest competition is here at wide receiver. We did also bring in DJ Chark. I signed him off of waivers. So Chark and Duvernay right now are battling for the 3rd receiver spot. We'll see who can really stand out for them. For the rest of the group here, we're seeing if someone will stand out as well. Tyler, I have high expectations for. Same with Brock Morgan as well. He looked good last year in the preseason. Richard Palmer, we're going to give him an opportunity. He's going to play a lot in this preseason, and I'm excited to see him. The defensive line, that's going to be a major topic point as well. We'll see how Dwight plays. Steven Dalton. David Elliott will play on the edge. We brought in we have 2 veterans here in Carter and Bowser. We're going to see a lot of Brenton McLean here. He's going to play a lot in the preseason as well. We're going to see who's going to be that new veteran, 4th corner on the roster between Russell Douglas here or Kevin Joseph. 2 young guys or 2 veterans here that I really like. There's not a ton of other competition here. We brought in Trubisky here basically to be an arm this week. He might get cut by the end of this week, to be honest with you guys. But we'll see. There's a lot of moves here. Let's get into the first preseason game. My game plan is fairly simple. We're going to give both the offense and the defense 1 drive each. And then we'll go to the backups here. I have a whole a list of players that I want to see here throughout the preseason. So, commentary will be a little bit all over the place. I might hop in, but we're here up in New York here in MetLife Stadium, home of both the New York Giants as well as the New York Jets here. New York has not been a fairly good team in this franchise. They've been in a mix of their own rebuild, and in the South, Ryan Bradshaw is their young start quarterback. But we're also going to get to see John Mitchie in today's action when he goes up against our defense, so we'll see how he'll play. But let's get into the first preseason action. And here comes the 3rd-year quarterback, number 9, Ryan Bradshaw. A formal 1st-round draft pick for the New York Football Giants, number 9. He's not having the season or the career that he's wanted so far. Hopefully he can turn this franchise around, but he has Saquon Barkley and a company here. We did send them over John Mitchie here. I believe number 1 is Kevin or CJ Hill or something, but right now, this is our look at the defense, and we have star talent everywhere, and I did knock down the injury slider, and already Derek Stingley is dealing with an injury, and something that I do not want to see. But to play for this episode, or for the start of this, I'm going to be commentating. We're going to talk through. But I have high expectations for this defense as Bosa laid down a massive hit on Ryan. But I have expectations for this defense. You know, we have three, in my opinion, #1 corners. We have an excellent pass rush duo now with Cameron Hayworth and Nick Bosa. It's up to these young guys to step up, most likely, on this defensive line, but we'll see how they'll play. And these two linebackers, they tag team to make this tackle for loss, and that's going to be the first look at the first team defense. I don't want to see them ever for the rest of this game. If I see a starter out there, I'm going to immediately call a timeout. And here comes Mason Pryor, the third-year quarterback, an 81 overall, got his team to the AFC Championship game, and he's hungry to get his team to the Super Bowl. And it starts here today, here in the first preseason action. As, you know, the offense hasn't typically changed, really. You know, we brought in James Conner at running back, but we moved off of Brandon Cooks. Duvernay right now is out there as a slot receiver. I'm expecting him to become the starter, but we'll see what he can do. Just like with the defense, we're going to give the #1 offense just some playing time, just on the first drive, and that's it. We do have another starting center who's competing in Morris here, but we know what Nico Collins and Paul Wilkerson can do, and that's 17 for Collins. You know, my expectation for this offense is to take the next necessary steps. You know, we can't see as many injuries as we saw last year. And, you know, at the end of the day, we have two top-tier wide receivers. We have a top-tier running back. You know, I want to see if Richard Palmer can step into a potential starting role this year. If not, we have Tyler Higbee, and we're not going to force the issue with Higbee or with Richard. If Richard's not ready, he's not ready. We'll give him another season. Higbee still has good hands. He's still a good blocker. But right now, our #1 offense is... Our #1 strings are going down the field, and they're going to try to put up 6 here. As it's 2nd down and 7 here for Pryor and team. We're going to go on an offset I formation. We'll see if we can run the ball to the left here. Here goes Pierce. Pierce trying to cut it, and he gets a couple. Pryor faces a 3rd down and 2 here. Pryor takes the snap, looks to throw now, trying to get this ball to Wilkerson, and Wilkerson just has the nose for the football and for the end zone. Touchdown, Houston, as Wilkerson scores his first score of the preseason, and that will be the #1 offense. It's time to see some backups. Well, and here comes the backup defense here, and we're seeing the 2 veteran edge rushers here. You know, some notables names. Rashad Evans right there making the play. He's probably the most impactful role player. A lot of these players out here right now are role players. You know, Evans, Carter, you know, even Elliott is out there as well. We're seeing who really can stand out as a potential full-time starter, and that's an excellent play right there. That right there was our 2nd-round draft pick, Brent McLean there. Number 42. He's right now on their #1 wide receiver. As Bowser here getting back there for the big-time sack. Wow, what a job there over Evan Neal there at right tackle. He beat multiple offensive linemen. That's already a good shot right there for Bowser. And here comes our backup quarterback. Veteran quarterback Ryan Tannehill, who has bounced in around the league. He has a lot of backups out there. You know, Duvernay's out there at wide receiver. We see Tyler, a lot of veterans here, but James Conner, he's going to get a lot of the carries. Same with Tony Pollard. Pollard's going to still be out there, but we want to see if Duvernay can really step up. Same with you know, Richard Palmer here, who can really make some plays as Duvernay makes that 16-yard reception here. And hopefully, you know, we'll get some good playing time for these young players. And, you know, Brock Morgan needs to show a little bit of something. Everyone has to show something here, in my opinion, as we're going to try to get to Morgan, but Tannehill can't throw it accurately. This will be the last drive, most likely, of today's action, probably until the second half, until I re-commentate here. So here is James Conner, gain of a few. So now let's try to get a good pass here. You know, let's try to hit this pass here on either Duvernay or Morgan on the outside here. Let's get this ball to Morgan, and that's unfortunate. Tannehill couldn't hit him. We'll go for it, though. So we'll try to make this play here. This is a play that I would love to see if Richard Palmer can make here. Now, right up the seam. This is not something that Higbee can make usually. So let's throw it up here. And this is Palmer. Can't reel it in. Turnover on downs. And here in the first preseason matchup, the New York Giants have beaten the Houston Texans 34-28 in a relatively close ball game where we did get to see a little bit of the competition really stand out. I would sit here and honestly say that both Carter and Bowser looked very good as the edge rushers. Those were two of the standouts. Also, Stephen Dalton. One of his weaknesses ever since drafting him, in my eyes, was his run stopping ability. And he did a very good job this week. Leon Holt impressed me as well. The two veteran receivers looked good. Same with Richard Palmer. You know, even Phillip Ford, a linebacker, he made a lot of good plays. Mitchell Trubisky proved to me he's definitely not deserving of a roster spot. He had an okay game, mediocre. But Ryan Tannehill showed that he is deserving of the backup quarterback spot, which I'm happy that we got to figure that out fairly early on in this process. Really didn't run the football a whole lot. Palmer as a focal point looked good. DJ Chark looked good out there. Same with Duvernay and Holt. He made some good plays too. A bunch of other receivers got involved. 1 sack allowed. We got a whole lot. Bowser and Carter each provided 3 in total. Elliott as well. Von Wheeler here, third-year corner, made an interception. Overall, solid day. Got a lot of good work in. Happy about the performance. Overall, not too bad at all when you look at it from a grand scheme of things. I don't typically show this screen, but these are right now our focus players. You know, we have a bunch of rookies, Brent, Leon here, you know, Dwight, Gardner, and Tyler, as well as 2 second-year players in Elliott and Palmer, just to get them some extra XP for right now. I'm really kind of like split up this season in like multiple different what's it called, like divisions, I guess you would say. You know, probably like every few weeks we'll probably have a different 6 or a couple new guys during the beginning of the season for probably the first like month or 2 of the season, as we don't have any injuries besides to backup right tackle Wilkerson. So that means George Fant will get more playing time this week. That's unfortunate. Wilkerson is a good tackle. He is actually a guy that really impresses me every single time he's out there. But a couple upgrades here. We'll start off with Paul Wilkerson, superstar dev. I would like to work on his route running. Again, I have no idea how to work on route running in this ball game, in Madden 23. So we'll get some route running, medium, short, exactly what I would like. So he's in a very good spot. It's just the route running needs to go up. And then for Kevin Banks here, second year off ball linebacker, much more known for his run stopping ability. For Banks here, we'll work on his field general, get some block shed and zone coverage. So that's getting up there. So now with 60 in coverage, so that's very good. He has a lot of work to do. He's a developmental player, probably a practice squad at the end of the day. But let's get in here into game 2 now versus the Carolina Panthers. It's going to be basically the same concept, though a couple different starters. We will be seeing the debut of quarterback Daniel Williams, as well as we're not going to be seeing the veteran runners play a lot. We're going to see a lot of Josh Cole as well as Manning Oliver. You know, overall, the team, we're going to see more of the backups, the more the depth of the roster in this ball game. So I'll highlight that when we get into that point. So we'll get through, I'm going to quickly get through the first 2 drives here. We don't need it. We know what our number 1 offense and number 1 defense can provide. And here comes Ryan Tannehill and his Houston offense. We got through the number 1 teams pretty quickly. So we still have a few starters out there, rotational players, but receivers are Duvernay, Brock Morgan, and Tyler Miller. He is the rookie receiver that we're going to target here. He has 99 spec catch, 5'11". He makes that reception for an easy first down. Overall, as I've talked about, you know, we're really trying to see who can really stand out at the wide receiver spot. Who's the depth? And we want to make sure that Tannehill is good enough to be the starter as Duvernay makes this reception and he's get past midfield. Good. 2 completions here for Tannehill. But overall, you know, whoever has separated right now, it is probably right now leaning towards Duvernay. Duvernay just moves very quickly and fluently over DJ Chark. But, I mean, there's still a ton of talent here at wide receiver. Who knows? We might even go just young here at wide outs. That's a good pass to Richard Palmer, who is really making a lot of noise, in my opinion. I think he's proving that he is just about ready, or he's not ready just yet, but he will be ready on the fucking fly. So, but here, after the fresh set of downs here, we're going to try to get this ball to Tyler. We'll see if he can hit this catch here in the back corner of the end zone. A double coverage, and it's intercepted. So, intercepted there. Wanted to take the chance here. Tyler is not the biggest receiver. He actually might be even more of a fit at the slot receiver anyways, but almost a good catch right there. But now we're going to get to see the backup defense here. Kyle Pickett is the Carolina Panthers' new quarterback this year. But we're going to get to see a lot of these young players, some veterans out there, players that are just trying to make the roster. And we'll see if they can make some plays here. Dwight is going to get the opportunity at edge rusher. Same with Steven Dalton, same with Elliott. We'll see who can make some plays. As this pass here is going to be caught here by McCaffrey. And how is this defense going to handle McCaffrey right now? A lot of these guys out here are young. You know, we got 2 young linebackers. Well, one's a veteran, but how are these guys going to handle here? Pickett, play action fake, looks to throw down the field. Ball's off the mark, should have been picked. He's going to make the plays when they're there. As Kenny's the quarterback, he looks to throw plenty of time. No edge rush, no pass rush at all. As now Kenny's going to scramble, look down the field. Ball's off of 2 defenders' hands, should have been picked. And don't forget, this is a starting offensive line of the league right now. One of these young guys needs to make a play here at edge rushers. Dwight is trying to battle, but Lamb will get there. A second-year defensive tackle who's more known for his run stopping is able to provide some pressure. Sacked back at the 35 will force a punt. And here in the second preseason game, the Houston Texans lost to the Carolina Panthers 45-7 in a ball game where, you know, at the end of the story, we need both Christian Harris and Roman Nova to stay healthy. Yeah, we cannot stop the middle of the field. We cannot stop the tight end position. And it was pretty clear and obvious after today's action. We couldn't stop either one of those. The Panthers also forced 5 turnovers, which were unfortunate. We took our deep shots when I really wanted to. Though Daniel Williams did impress me. I know he threw a touchdown and a couple interceptions, but he looked good out there. You know, for a 59 overall quarterback, he looked good out there, especially for a 7th round pick as well. Ryan Tannehill, 3 interception day. He just didn't get anything going. He's fine. We threw the ball a lot. Didn't run the ball that much. Richard Palmer continues to impress. Duvernay continues to impress. Chark had a quiet day, but he still did his job. Curtis looked good out there. You know, Leon Holt caught a touchdown. Overall, the offense looked good. The defense, we need to work on working the middle of the field. No forced turnovers, 1 sack. Still got a lot of work to do, but hey, second preseason game, what do you expect? And as we're entering now into the last preseason game of this episode, there will be some changes across the roster. We are going to give a lot of the backups starts. I'm showing you guys this screen just in case if there's any injuries, but we're going to give a lot of the backups an opportunity now. I don't want to see any starters. I don't want to see any, you know, not a ton of role players, but some. Players that need to show that they can be full-time contributors. You know, Steven Dalton has continued to impress, though thankfully no injuries after this week's of practice. But I'll show you guys the roster that's going to enter into the ball game now. So barring any sort of injuries, this will be the roster entering into the third preseason game. Daniel's going to get the entire game. Both Josh Cole and Manny Oliver will be playing the entire game as running backs. I'm going to be giving the three intriguing receivers an opportunity. Chark, Duvernay, and Tyler, all three of these guys will get the start, get the first half. Second half will go to Brock Morgan, Leon Holt, and Curtis here. Starting offensive line will play throughout this entire game. Same thing with Richard Palmer. Defensively, it's the same thing. The defensive line will play throughout the entire game. Corners will change. McLean will play the entire game, and safeties will change. Linebackers will change here and there, but both Baxter and Phillip will be the two sub linebackers, so these guys will get a lot of playing time. I want to see the youth across the defensive line and see who really stands out. Dwight might play a little bit in the interior in the second half. I just want to see how everyone really plays. So, this is going to be the team not entering into week 1, but entering into the third preseason game. So let's get right into it. As we are now entering into week 3 of the preseason finale, we are really going to be checking out a lot of the youth of this roster, a lot of the backups, a lot of the bottom end of the roster, some players that will most likely go to the practice squad. Daniel Williams, the rookie quarterback, will get the start throughout this entire ball game, as well as this is the last week for a lot of these players trying to make both a starting role as well as just a role on both sides of the ball. This is their last week to really impress me and show me what they can do. There's a lot of players that I'm looking into. Number 1, obviously, is Richard Palmer, as well as DJ Chark and Devin Duvernay. They're going to get a lot of opportunities this week, and I'm hoping that someone's going to make an impact here. As here comes the 7th round rookie quarterback, Daniel Williams. I'm hoping that Williams can be our primary backup in the next year or so, but 58 overall. He's more of a short to intermediate type of quarterback, so I don't know how many deep shots we'll take this week. But Daniel's going to get this entire game. I don't want to see any other quarterback out there. We're going to see a lot of this youth here. Starting at our own 22-yard line, Williams play action fake, looks to throw, feeling the rush. Tries to get away from it, and he will find Duvernay. And Duvernay has impressed me out of the two. Between both him and DJ Chark, as I looked at the stats, they've played the same amount of downs. And I think that Duvernay has just looked a tad bit better. So Chark is going to have to get some opportunities. I will definitely try to be forcing the football to both of these two players. We shall see who can really separate here. As this pass here goes to Chark underneath. I know in this video there's not a lot of commentary, a lot of this preseason stuff. It's not that I want to keep it hidden from you guys. It's more that, this is a good catch here by Duvernay. It's more that, I want to really kind of experience the team, and sometimes it's kind of hard to experience while playing. So I really do just kind of enjoy sitting back and just playing the game and giving you guys kind of a little bit of a summary of what happened. As this is going to be a good run here by Josh Cole, who always impresses me during these times. Good hard running right there. Our set of downs here as Williams, the rookie quarterback, takes the snap, looks to throw. He wants end zone here with Chark, and Chark makes the catch, but he's out of bounds. Second down and 10 here. Williams back to this aerial attack, looks to throw, slings it to the outside here. Duvernay can't reel it in, knocked away. Third down and 10 here for Williams. He needs the conversion. Looks to throw. Sets his feet. Tries to get this ball to Tyler, who reels it in. Rookie to rookie. First down and goal here now at the 5. Those are definitely the type of plays I like to see there from rookie to rookie here. Here's Manny Oliver, who's trying to make an impact, and he will find the end zone. Touchdown, Houston, as we will take the early advantage in this third preseason game. And here comes Detroit and their offense. I don't know who's in. Zach Fran is at quarterback. So Fran here, who's a 76 overall, was actually the first ever drafted quarterback and player in this franchise. Zach here is a third-year quarterback looking to continue to improve his Lions team. As we're trying to see a lot of the backups here. We're kind of trying to see what every rookie can do, what every veteran can do. Again, these are a lot of role player spots in the bottom half of this roster here. Who's going to be the quality depth across the defensive line, the offensive line? And I'm hoping that this week we can kind of get a good picture of it. You know, I want to see our two young guys make some plays here, like Dwight's with an excellent tackle. I don't know how much of an impact Dwight's going to have early on, you know. I don't know if he's going to be really a day one starter like Elliott was, but maybe he's going to get his own little package, or we put him out there on certain downs and distances. But, you know, obviously it's a kind of a wait and see here. You know, overall, another good player that has been playing well is Phillip Ford here, number 93 here, who almost made that tackle. But Ford, he's impressed me. Same with Baxter, our two young off-ball linebackers who can definitely make some plays for our defense if necessary. As Zach will go over the middle here, and this is going to be a good catch here for the first down. So I am going to only be commentating the first two drives, so our drive and our defense's first drive, and then if there's any sort of big plays that has happened in the meantime, I will of course show them just like I did in the last two preseason games. But overall, what do you guys think so far of the team? Tell me about who you're the most excited about. You know, which receiver's gonna have 1,000 yards? You know, all of that fun stuff down in the comment. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to like the video if you are new here. It really would mean a lot to me, and it's always greatly appreciated. Zach looks to throw as he's gonna zip it down the field, and Dwight is gonna be penalized with a personal foul call. Fresh set of downs here at the 12-yard line due to a bad call, and that's Williams. Touchdown, Detroit. Both teams will start off this ball game with a touchdown, and we should have a fun action here in the last preseason action. And here in the final preseason game, the Houston Texans will be losing to the Detroit Lions 38-35 in a very close matchup here. You know, probably the biggest storyline that left out of this game was David Elliott went down with an injury and he did not return. He's out. I think he's going to be out for a few weeks at least at the beginning of this season. So that's a pretty big injury here. But overall, a very good game here. Got to see a lot of the backups, a lot of the bottom of this roster, future talent maybe. But Daniel Williams, you know, he was the only quarterback that played for us. 46 passes for over 380 yards and 3 touchdowns. He looked good, honestly. He looked very good. He didn't convince me that he should be the only backup quarterback, but he did convince me he is very much playable. Josh Cole showed off yet again, 10 carries. He looked good out there. Manny Oliver continues to impress out of the backfield. Brock Morgan had a good day. Richard Palmer, but Duvernay had 66 yards, and what's his name? Chark had 1 catch for 13 yards and a touchdown. So I don't really know in terms if that has any sort of meaning to you guys, but you know, I think in terms of talent, I think Duvernay is just a better slot receiver than Chark is. Chark might make the roster just because of his overall, and as well as he's, you know, really our 4th best overall wide receiver, but I don't think we can sit here and deny the talents behind, or that we have drafted or have brought through free agency. So, but Brent McLean here, he looked very good out there. You know, I did put him at safety as well, and that tackle really showed this game. It's one thing that really kind of impressed me, and it's kind of the reason why I think he's much more suited for the slot. He might be a big slot corner, and that's fine with me as we get change of direction, man coverage, and some other good abilities here. He's a work in progress. You know, we gave him over close to 200 snaps here in the preseason. He got every snap just about. You know, he's a developmental corner. Give him another season and he'll be okay. Though we do have one injury after this game, and yes, it is to David Elliott, who I think will miss probably the first game. I don't know if they count this. I guess they count this week. So yeah, he will only miss the season opener, which is very good. But now it's decision time. It's time to take this 75-man roster, bring it down to 53. We have over 22 cuts. We do have a trade offer here for Kevin Joseph. He's one of our backup veterans corners. Though I do want to look through free agency, see what's around. BJ Hill is out there. He might be a good bring in. Traylon Burks as well. There's like actually a couple guys that, you know, I don't think you could sit here and say we shouldn't consider. You know, nothing really at quarterback. Nothing. I wouldn't want to bring in another running back. But Traylon Burks, he would be an interesting just bring in. But I without getting him any playing time, it's kind of hard. You know, DJ Humphries, Andre Diller's back out on the market. So if we want a veteran tackle, you know, other than George Fant, we could go get that now. Same with Will Hernandez. Here's a younger guy, another player that we could target. There's actually a few targets here. So, you know, BJ Hill is definitely someone I'm highly considering here. At least just for the beginning of the season. I mean, why not? Hill is a very good talent, and he would be an interesting bring-in. But I'm going to try to make this roster down to 53. I'll show you guys all the progress here in the league transition. If you guys see any like edited player, it's just because I was editing their uniform, or if it's a CPU, it's because the player had a very good year. We have striked up a deal here with the Minnesota Vikings, sending DJ Chark for a 5th round draft pick. You know, Chark is now really their number 2 wide receiver on the roster. And that allows us to basically kind of go full force. We still have 3 more cuts to be made here. And, you know, I'm right now debating about, you know, do we want to make a similar type of trade with James Conner and go with either keeping Josh Cole or Manny Oliver, one of the 2 runners. You know, right now I think the receiving group is set. You know, we have to probably make a move along the offensive line. But right now, even linebackers kind of becoming a question. So there might be actually a couple more trades we do make here before we move on. As we striked up another deal here, trading away Bubby Johnson here for a 6th round draft pick from the Baltimore Ravens. We've also exchanged players here, extending to Detroit James Conner and 2 7th round draft picks to bring in Christian Lockhart here. He's a strong safety. I will introduce him to you guys in just a moment. We have a couple more trades to be made here, but I really like this move. I think you guys are going to be excited for the addition of Lockhart. And the final trade that we're going to be making is sending over Titus Bowser to the Cleveland Browns for a 4th round pick, but next year. They had a ton of interest in here as Cleveland wanted to add themselves another valuable pass rusher. So here are all the cuts here after the preseason action, moving off of players like AJ Cann, Manny Oliver, Von Wheeler. Some of these players have been around for a while from us, and you know, players like Von, you know, Manny Oliver, who I really only got to play with during the preseason. Now they're off the team. We made a few other moves to get also some draft capital back to the roster, but now we have 2 open spots here. But before we bring in 2 more players, I just want to show you guys the roster. We'll start here at safety here. We'll start here with Christopher Lockford, who we just traded for. Lockford here is 24 years old. He's a strong safety. You know, he has solid zone coverage, good tackle, very good hit power. And Christopher just really kind of really intrigues me. He's 24 years old. And the thing that we have to sit back and remember here is that Jabril Peppers is in his final year of his deal. Same thing here with Jalen Peachy. As much as I would like to keep both, I don't know if we're going to be able to. So Christopher does give us that little bit of a bubble just in case we have to move off of one or even both, and Christopher can develop this year. Here at corner, I don't think we're going to make any more moves here. So we have our top 3 guys, and I'm very happy about that. And then here, you know, we brought in Kevin here, and Kevin made the roster, and I think he rightfully deserves. So, you know, he's a young player. He's 25 years old. Who knows? He might be a trade piece later down on the road if needed. But Kevin's a very good player. Same with Brent. I'm very excited to see what he can do. In terms of the linebacking group, we have Christian Harris, Alonzo Carter, but Carter's more of an edge rusher in our scheme. Phillip Ford is really a backup, but we're keeping Rashad Evans, we're keeping Nova, Jabril Cox made the roster. So Baxter did not. He's a third-year off-ball linebacker. He's practice squad eligible, so we sent him there. Here's the defensive tackle group. Tim Settle will probably have to get the start, but Quandre Lamb here made the roster. We have Nick Bosa, Stephen Dalton here, Dwight. Those are the interior. We'll probably bring in a player on the defensive line anyways. We have 2 spots open. Here's the offensive line. We're keeping a lot of linemen on this team. We're keeping 10 actually. So we have a lot of linemen on this roster, and that's just because of injuries. And our backups really did play well. And, we're keeping the 2 veterans that we brought in, and Ben Powers and Mitch Morris. And we're keeping the players who we drafted, in Derek Charles as well as Devin Gardner, who we drafted in the first round. The tight end group, James Lindsay, who's been on our practice squad over the last 2 years. He's made the 53-man roster. Here's the receiving group. So, we have our 3 veterans, and then we have our 3 young guys here. So, it's going to be a very interesting decision when an injury does occur. For the running back group, we're right now rocking with 3. Josh Cole did make the roster. Again, 3rd straight year. But, we don't really have that 4th guy, and sometimes I like to have 4 running backs. And then these are the 3 quarterbacks. But overall wise, not too many surprises, at least in my opinion. When we go to now open free agency here, we do have 2 roster spots open, and one of them will be for BJ Hill. You just don't let when you're a Super Bowl contender, you do not allow a player like a BJ Hill to go unnoticed here. So we're gonna bring in Hill. He can play anywhere on the defensive line. And then for the final player, I think when you sit here and look at it, you could argue for a running back. It would make some sense. You could argue for a wide receiver. You got some veterans. You got an intriguing player here in Traylon Burks. You could argue, for a different veteran tight end at number 3. Same thing for an offensive lineman. Though, I think when you look at the most intriguing prospects, across right now out here in open free agency, I think you almost kind of default to potentially bring in another safety or corner. But I think for right now, let me look around and see if I can find someone. And the final 53-man player that we're going to have on the roster is Antonio Macklin here. Macklin is right now on the Vikings practice squad, and I think, I remember him being in the draft process. He's a very good young athlete. And I think adding more defensive line for depth is important. So, this will be the team that we're going to be rocking with here entering into year 4 now. We're going to go in with 4 safeties, 6 corners, a good amount of linebackers. Right now, 1, 4, 6 linebackers, a healthy group of defensive line. And I think the addition of BJ Hill is massive, because I think Hill can even play on the right side or the left side of the defensive line as well as an end. I think we have quality across the offensive line. I think we got good playmakers. I think Leon Holt can be utilized not even just as a wide receiver, potentially as a running back. Same thing with Brock Morgan. I think that we have a quality team here. And I'm very excited for entering into year 4, though we're not going to finish just yet. We're going to sim to week 1. And next time, it will be the Houston Texans versus the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals team that we kicked out of the postseason back in the divisional round will be facing off right here in week 1. This is a very important matchup, and it's a very exciting matchup. It's the beginning of year 4. Higher expectations than years prior. And it's time for this team to take the next necessary steps. So guys, please leave a like, comment down below what you thought of today's action. Let me know if I made the right moves to put together this 53-man roster. I'm very excited about it. To let you guys know that I will be making a little bit of slider updates to it for mostly gameplay. I'm working with the injury slider, as well as I'm hoping to get this season up and going as quickly as possible. I'm looking to kind of get through this year. I want to make a lot of good progress here throughout the rest of May, as well as in the month of June. So again, guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like the video, and don't forget to leave a comment. And I will see you in the season opener.